Lab 12, still doing the senses. We're now looking at vision and the structure of the eye. This is your eye. It is a ball. It's a hollow ball. It is made up of 3 different tissue layers. The outermost is the white sclera, and in the front the sclera gives rise to the transparent cornea. The cornea will be covered by a membrane called the conjunctiva, which is not on this image, but you can find it in your lab book. The second middle layer is called the choroid. It is a vascular pigmented layer. It's this orangish reddish kind of color that runs around. And in the front, it is going to give rise to the iris, which is the colored portion of your eye. And right behind the iris, there is a muscle called the ciliary body. This muscle will extend via suspensory ligaments down to the lens and hold the lens in place and also adjust the shape of the lens. The innermost tissue layer is your retina, which is going to have 2 layers. The innermost part of the retina is the neural retina, and then right behind it will be a thin layer of pigmented retina, whose function is to absorb any excess light. We have 2 cavities. We have an anterior cavity in the front. It runs from the back of the cornea through the pupil, which is the hole in the middle of the iris, and then back to the front of the lens. And this cavity will be filled with aqueous humor. Behind the lens, going back all the way to the retina, is the posterior cavity, and that will be filled with a jelly-like material called vitreous humor. There are 3 parts on the retina that you should look at. We have an area here, which is the larger area, is called the macula lutea, and if the light goes straight back, it should hit the macula lutea. In the center of the macula lutea is the fovea centralis. This is made up of only cones, and it gives you the best visual acuity. And if the light gets angled this way, it will hit the optic disc, which is the surface of the optic nerve, which runs through the retina and the 3 layers and out. And this creates a blind spot because there are no photoreceptors in this area. In the next picture, we have a number of smaller pictures of our eye model. Okay. Looking at this one, we can see the white sclera. The front is the clear cornea. Here we remove the sclera, and we now have the choroid, which is vascular. You can see the blood vessels pigmented. And the front of the vascular will have the retina, the colored portion, along with the pupil, which is just the hole. Okay. When we remove the choroid, we now can see inside the eye, we have the retina, and we can see the ciliary bodies, the muscles that are going to send suspensory ligaments to the lens that will hold the lens in place. And here is the iris, which is the colored portion of the eye. The lens would sit right here, but it's been removed from the model. Here is our optic disc, where your optic nerve leaves, and unfortunately you can't really see, but the fovea centralis in the middle of the macula lutea would be in about that area. On this side, the only thing it's really got going for it is it's got a lovely lacrimal gland. Remember, lacrimal is located laterally. It will make tears. The tears will flow across the eye and then exit. You can also see the pupil and in this case, the gray iris, the sclera of the eye. All right, now when you look at the retina. The retina is going to be made up of a number of different types of cells. In this slide, it's not as magnified here, and we can see the light is coming from this way, so it's coming from the lens going through the vitreous humor. This is all vitreous humor. Then we have a layer here. This whole layer is the retina. This is the neural retina, and this little dark line will be part of the pigmented retina, and it will run into the choroid, which is also dark in coloration. Then we have the sclera. We're looking at it up close. Again, this is the vitreous humor. We have the whole retina, okay, a little bit of pigmented retina in the back, the choroid, and sclera. Now the retina is made up of a number of different cells. Light's coming in this way. It's going to have to go past the layer of, in this case, these yellow cells, which are your ganglionic cells. Then a layer of bipolar cells. Both of these are neurons. Then it will hit the photoreceptors. So the light's going to go past everything, excite the photoreceptors, would then send the message back to the 2 layers of neurons, and the axons of the ganglionic will form the optic nerve, which will exit the eye. In this picture, what you want to look for are the dark nuclei. These few layer of nuclei here scattered are the nuclei of the ganglion. Then we have a nice layer here. This is the nuclei of the bipolars, and then we have the nuclei of the photoreceptors.